All right.
All parade and they put our phones over.
Coach, I'm here on your right. Can you take us through your decision-making as far as Nico was concerned today and how you think he responded to what was asked of him?
I thought he responded well. I thought, like I said, KD defensively to start and then try to get to that small lineup with all shooting on the floor, which helped us get the lead, gave James and Kawhi more spacing, and I was able to attack when we went small. And so, I told the guys after the game, KD and, being still up cheering, I talked to those guys, and it's about being a team and whatever it takes to win. And those guys totally understood it, even though they've been great for us all year long, and so just want to say thank you to them. But, our guys came out and played well tonight. I thought to start the game, attention to detail was really good. And then when we went small with that shooting lineup, I thought we was able to break the game open a little bit.
Yeah, backs against the wall, obviously, but when you look at the performances you got from your top scorers, at least traditionally, what did you make of James, Kawhi, and Norm?
Yeah, I thought James did a great job setting the tone early, scoring the basketball, getting downhill, making the right play. Norm made some big shots at the end, and Kawhi was just kind of steady throughout the game. But I thought those three guys really stepped up, came to play. I thought Zoo was a monster on the defensive end tonight, getting closer to Joker, not giving him as much space. And Joker just it's just hard. If you double team him, he's gonna pick you apart with his passing. If you stay at home, he's gonna score. So I give my guys credit, just staying with it. Don't get deflated, and we did a good job just keeping our head.
Ty, when you talked about checking that temperature, it was great. What was it about those conversations that basically assured you and assured them that you guys could win this game?
That they were positive. They were positive and understood that, the series could have been 3-2 our way easily, and so just staying the course. They're a really good team. They have 5 starters, 4 of the starters returned, been there for like 4 or 5 years. They won a championship, and they know how to play. And so, coming out at, game 5 at their place, they were really aggressive. I thought Joker really led the charge with Jamal Murray, stepped up and having 43. But I thought early on Joker was aggressive. That opened everything up for Jamal Murray. And so we just got to stay the course. Game 7 is going to be tough, but we're ready for the challenge.
Ty, this is kind of a 2-part question. Is there a reason why you didn't start Batum, or like you kind of wanted to save that for the second half? It was part 1, and part 2 is when you go to that small lineup, what do you have to do defensively to keep Jamal in check, right? Or to keep their, you take defense, if you trade defense for offense, you obviously have to still play some defense out there.
Because I wanted to get to the small lineup against their second unit. With, like I said, with shooting, we had Norm, Bogey, Nico, Kawhi, and James. DJ was in there for a stretch, but then we brought Norm in. And I thought we was able to push the pace. I thought we was able to get open shots, get to the paint, kind of spread them out a little bit so they couldn't just load up and try to take away driving lanes. And so that was the reason. But then, the second half, like I said, just going to that and seeing how good it was, just to kind of space the floor, was really huge for us. And so just, I wanted to get to that small lineup against their second unit in that second quarter. That was the main reason why.
Ty, that decision to go to Nico to start the second half, is that something that you guys had pre-planned and discussed going in, or is this at halftime you're like, this is the change that needs to be made? I can't talk. Be made. My brain. It's a long night.
Yeah, I was just going over, the last 24 hours of just different rotations to try to exploit what they were doing, and so I thought KD would get us out to a great, defensive start to start the game, and then I can get to that small lineup that I wanted to get to against DeAndre Jordan on the floor, and give us spacing, and it worked, and so in the second half, I thought having the space in the way James and Kawhi were able to attack, I thought really opened up the floor, and so we just did it to start the second half because Nico was really playing great.
And then with James, in the last 36 minutes of this game, what do you think that lineup was able to do for him specifically? Because he did get going that second quarter.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought we did a good job of just, in transition, Zoo diving to the basket, letting James go one-on-one and create to keep him out of the blitz. I thought he did a good job attacking one-on-one. Our spacing was really good tonight, and he was able to get to the paint, get to the basket, and so just talking about just opening it up for him and allow him to play, you know, one-on-one and get to his spots.
Ty, your point guard is in his 16th season. We've all seen the load that he's had to carry. Like, how impressed are you that he's able to play that many minutes? I think it's the third time in this series. I think he played 40 minutes 5 times in the regular season. Like, how impressed are you that he's able to not just be on the floor, but to be in this kind of position and lead your team?
Yeah, you know, very impressed. You know, like I said, he wants to play every night. He's in great shape, trained for these moments. He wants to play, you know, and so I knew, you know, with the lineup that I wanted to get out there in the second quarter, he would get a quick breather. Kawhi came back in for him, and then we brought James back to start the second quarter to really give us some offensive firepower, and it worked, you know, and so, you know, he got worn down, got a little tired, took a couple timeouts to try to, you know, to save him, but like I said, he wanted to play, he wanted to compete, and like I said, he brought us home tonight.
Ty, you've been in Game 7s before. What are those games like? What does it take, and what do you expect you guys need to do to win the Game 7?
Come out with a defensive mindset and then in attack mode on both sides. Like, we know each other's plays, we know what we're trying to do, we know how we're trying to exploit mismatches. And we just got to go for it, you know, lay everything out on the line, and these are what you live for, you know, growing up as a kid, being in the playoffs, Game 7s. And so we got to come, you know, ready to go, especially with a defensive mindset, but offensively being aggressive, attacking the paint, attacking the basket, and go from there.
Will you talk to them again about Game 7? Or you just talk about just try to win another game?
Just talk about things we got to get better at. You know, our spacing a couple times, how they're trying to play James. You know, our pace, just like keeping that pace of just trying to play in transition, play before they get their defense set. And I thought we did a better job of that tonight, but we can go to another level.
Ty, back to your temperature check. So what was the temperature check like with James as he's trying to figure out how to manage the ups and downs of this?
Yeah, it was great. You know, we had great conversations. Just how to open them up, open the floor up, and just, you know, talking them through some stuff and bouncing ideas off each other. And, you know, it was good, you know, and so being one of the best ISO guys we've seen, like, you know, probably in NBA history, you know, we just talked about giving him more space, giving him more ISOs and one-on-ones. We know they're blitzing him, you know, every time with the 5-man. So just, you know, try to go guard, pick and rolls, and try to attack from there. And he did a great job, especially starting the game.
Two more.
Ty, you didn't happen to leave any money at the ball arena, did you?
No, I didn't.
When you look at Nico's impact, though, I know we've talked about just his high IQ, but just the ability to get some of those, you know, a weak side block after it looked like Nicola had him beat. Just plays like those, like how does his just ability to do those kind of things just allow you to do so many different things because he's able to do those?
I mean, just look what he did defensively. You know, second half he guarded Jamal Murray, guarded, you know, Jokic in the first half when we went small. You know, he can guard 1 through 5, and just the intensity he brings defensively every night. And then, like I said, be able to block some shots around the rim, tip outs on the glass, and then be able to make a shot, but just understanding how to play the game, understanding spacing. And like I said, he's huge for us.
Coach, going back to Zoo, he's talking about he was a monster on defense tonight. I think that his discipline on Jokic is a big part of that. Him not fouling, him closing out, and showing his hands essentially. But can you talk about what that does for the other 4 guys on the court to allow Zoo to be solid, not foul, but be disciplined when he's going against Jokic?
I mean, it's huge, and you know nobody can guard him one-on-one, but you know if we have Zoo on him, you know we want him to bang and try to wear him down as much as possible. But I thought he did a really good job just, you know, around the basket, guarding him one-on-one, you know, staying big, jumping after Joker jumps so you won't get fouls, and was very disciplined tonight. And I thought even, you know, when Joker was on the perimeter, just being closer, like not giving up threes, being closer. And this whole series for us has been about being closer to our guys. And so I thought tonight we took a step in the right direction.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.